Papa was a rolling stone. He left it, it wasn't right. But I got a new enemy that's right in my sight because we're sibling rivals. We're sibling rivals. Oh, sibling rivals. No, no, no. Sibling rivals. Sibling rivals.
Hello, you're listening to another episode of Chismes And Menudo. We are here with our friend Daniel, aka Tuned Out, and we have another special guest, which is this thing that weighs just about a human being. How much does this weigh?
I don't know. It's not light.
Bring the mic just a little closer.
Oh yeah, it's not light.
When you picked it up outside, you struggled a little bit. I'm not saying you're not manly or anything. I'm just saying it must have been that heavy.
No, it's more like the mental weight of it. You know what I mean? It's just, exercise. Oh.
But it really is gigantic.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. It's a thick piece of equipment.
Yeah, 88 keys, is full size is preferable. And then this thing loops. So there's there's a computer. There's kind of more going on than just like a regular keyboard.
Mm-hmm. I used to have one. I used to take piano when I was a kid.
She took 2 piano classes.
I took 2 piano classes, exactly, and then I was done.
She's like, I've mastered it all. Cash me out.
But this isn't a whole nother level. Can you tell us what you do?
Oh, man. Well, with this and the show I do called Tuned Out, I loop music live. So I build a song layer by layer on this keyboard. And that includes like the bass lines and like horns or whatever I would be adding to it. And then I improvise all of the lyrics to a song based on some stories the audience tells me. And that can be as simple as, why they hate their job. And it could be as complex as that they just had a diabetic coma and almost died, which you two saw me do live like 2 months ago.
What was going on in your head when she said that? Like, has that been the craziest thing that someone has ever said?
No.
No?
But it's not the craziest, but how do I get from a diabetic coma to funny is what was going on in my head. How do I make this funny? And also, how do I do it justice and not offend the person?
Yeah.
Because most people are recording with their phone and...
I think I have a video of you that day.
I'm almost positive you do.
Yeah.
She was recording everybody that day.
I was recording everyone.
I want to see it.
I want to send it.
Maybe I didn't do as badly as I thought.
Did you really think you did bad?
I think it was just a weird venue.
It's just a weird venue.
It's outside. It's really loud. The train's rolling by,
Did you do a lot of comedy shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly?
What's the main one that you said you did at Stomping Grounds?
Normally, right? Beyond just like Tuned Out, I'm an improviser.
Mm-hmm.
I do improvised shows, improvised musicals, I'm with a team and we make up a whole musical. But I also am an accompanist for those types of shows too. So I'm doing a lot of different things. We could say it's all comedy, but none of it's stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to do stand-up for a little.
You did?
For a bit. I took 2 lessons. I'm just kidding. I did stand-up for a while, maybe like 2 years or something.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
It's fun. I love it. But.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier, you said you've always done music like since you were like in high school, basically like a teenager.
Yeah, middle school.
Middle school.
I started on the guitar.
That's cool.
And I did that. This is back when like guitar was like king, right? Like grunge was big. I'm a little bit older than y'all, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Grunge was like huge.
Well, she's 72. I'm 30. I'm 90.
Always do
I'm
that
97.
To me. We have Nirvana here.
Actually, yeah. Funny enough, we have a
that's very grunge.
Rolling
That's
Stone,
like
Rolling Stone.
The Nirvana edition. That's the first thing I think of when I think of
grunge.
Yeah, you
grunge.
should.
What year did you graduate high school?
2000. We're just putting it all out there. 2000.
That's the year I started school.
Yeah.
You're 10 years older than me.
I'm not kidding.
It's not too bad.
10 years. Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, it goes fast. I'm going to say some old head stuff, right?
Yeah.
It goes really quick. And I still feel like I just got out of college. It's a weird thing.
What college did you go to?
So I was mentioning to y'all before, I'm from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I went to USF, which is in Tampa.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't
Yeah.
know. That was a guess. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it's their football
Tampa.
team.
Oh, that's right. Okay, good.
I'd say USF's not super well known outside of Florida, but it's a really big school.
Is that the
University of South
Gators?
Florida?
No, Gators is UF.
UF.
Oh, okay.
This one, they have a pretty solid team, and every year they're like moving up to a new division. So
Are they
maybe
D?
someday-
Is that D1?
Do you want?
I don't know what they're at now, but they're the Bulls.
No
I don't think it's
idea.
D1.
Absolutely no idea. My son, he follows college football a lot, so he might know it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I need to start following college football. It's fun.
Yeah, it's funner. There's the stakes are higher, I think, is what my husband
More,
was telling
they
me.
score more.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, they break more bones.
all the stuff. we
More
come to
injuries.
see.
All the best stuff.
Oh man.
Oh
So-
gosh.
So how long after you graduated college? Like, were you doing music the whole time? Were you like in bands or anything? Like while you were in college?
So yeah, in high school, I was in a garage band.
Oh yeah.
Grunge, like we were, 16, 17, 18. We had our own space.
Mm-hmm.
Like we weren't in someone's garage. We had our own storage space in the hood. In I want to say like Pompano Beach, Florida, or something. Like in an
That's
area
the
we
hood.
should not be
Yeah.
at age 17.
Yeah.
Getting baked and
Getting baked. That's a term.
And it started to be the spot to hang out. People just started showing up
A storage
when
unit?
we were just trying to rehearse.
Yeah.
It became this party spot and got a little bit out of control. Eventually my grades really suffered from being this I was on the drums, by the way.
Oh,
I was
okay.
not
So
the
you were playing
guitarist or piano
drums.
player. I was a drummer. Yeah. But eventually my grades suffered so bad that my mom was like, you're leaving my house.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
I moved in with my dad, who is in South Miami. Still is, same house.
Nice.
Oh.
And so my band days kind of ended, but it was probably for the best.
Were y'all any good? Were y'all getting booked on anything?
We just ended the garage rehearsal phase and started getting shows.
Mm-hmm.
But right soon after that, I needed to go to college and move away, and so I guess it's kind of how it goes for a high school band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, in university, college, I didn't really continue with it. I must sound like a crazy person because all the eclectic stuff. But I was a DJ, a hip hop DJ through most of the college.
Holy shit,
And
that's
for
cool.
the college radio
Can you scratch?
station. Yeah, well, I used to could. Now,
I used to
now I'm
could.
old. I got carpal tunnel. Look at all the old, they're turntablists. They're
Yeah.
they have an arm brace and
That sucks. That's insane. Jesus.
Did you rap? Because that's one facet of hip hop. Did you rap?
I did.
Okay, so you rapped.
That sucks.
You DJ'd.
I could be boy.
You were a b-boy?
Well, not as good as I could pop and lock.
Okay.
You gotta have real athleticism to be a good b-boy.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine that was a really good b-boy. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people knew him in Dallas. I don't know if he still does it.
Yeah.
We're kind of older
Died.
now. He didn't die.
Oh no.
Not
died-
b-boy.
Oh.
He died mid backspin.
It's just broken half.
He did a suicide fall and actually committed suicide.
Wait,
And
what is the
accidents.
suicide for?
When they do that thing.
Just
and
drop.
it's
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, man.
Jesus. There you
Did you
go.
have-
You used to have a little bit of rhythm on that thing.
Yeah.
Do it again. Die.
You ever do any graffiti?
Of course.
Ah, well, there you go.
I'm from Miami. I don't know how I was in Dallas at the time, but Miami's still a huge place for the hip hop elements.
Yeah.
There's still meetups for breakers and b-boys and pop and locking. There's a lot of people who go out and bomb the city. Not literally bomb a city.
Yeah.
To
Like
go,
tag,
yeah,
yeah.
go
Oh my
tag and do
God.
graffiti. It's a huge culture there.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
Yeah. So that's a big part of. I feel like I bring this to Dallas a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm in the improv world, which is pretty white. It's pretty white, and I know I am too. But I have this, I have these little layers I can
hmm
use, for my art,
Yeah.
and I hope it shines through.
That's interesting because in high school, you're all into the garage rock scene, I assume, and grunge and everything. And then you come out of that and you go into hip hop, real heavy.
Well, in high school, I started all the hip hop stuff at the same time.
Oh,
I
okay.
started DJing. I started freestyling. I was, breaking, of course, at the time, but I wouldn't
Mhm.
say I was super great at that point.
But you were in a lot of different, not subcultures, but in a lot of different genres. It seems
Yeah.
like you just saw something and you were like, I want to try that and let me do it.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Like there's people who they would have spent all that time on like sports or something,
Mhm.
or like honor society.
Yeah.
Or on just one thing.
But this is
Yeah,
more
sure.
interesting. But this is more
What are you
interesting
trying
though.
to
I know I do the same thing too. I totally
Yeah.
really.
Focus, son.
Focus. But like what made you want like was it that you just liked it and you wanted to try
You
it?
were like, oh, that looks cool. Let me see if I can go do a head spin.
That's a good question. To me, I just loved it.
Mhm.
If we talk about hip hop, like that beat is really driving,
Yeah.
right? Like it's a heartbeat kind of rhythm to it, and I've always been drawn to it.
Mhm.
And I think I thought breakdancing and stuff was cool, but I'm sure it's partly because people around me, were doing it as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there was like a boom for all of this in the late '90s
Mhm.
with like backpacker hip hop and stuff. That started to explode, all these independent labels and things, and like being a scratch DJ was a cool thing at this. Well, to me,
Yeah.
maybe to some other people it seemed lame, but this was a movement happening, and so I'm sure I got swept up in it.
Mhm.
I'm not the only white boy who
There's quite a few.
got pulled away with the current. Right?
Oh, no.
That's so cool. I think it's just so cool that you got like you've been in like a lot of different stuff. You've been in bands and you've also been a DJ and you're b-boy and you out tagging the city and shit. That's pretty fucking cool.
It's weird how these things still like come into play sometimes. You
Yeah.
know.
Because that's what life is, it's all your experiences and then they just kind of culminate into whatever you're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
So what you're doing at the moment is improv and you can kind of pull from every single little facet.
How about you two? Any like I know you both do comedy, but how about music and the arts?
Well, I don't do comedy. I just love consuming it. But like I was a singer growing up. Like I've always been singing, and I was in
Awesome.
varsity choir.
Very cool.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But it was like it wasn't anything that we were, or at least me, that I was gonna take seriously. Like that's why I only did 2 lessons on piano because it was like I don't want to.
I get it.
But I don't, for me it was like always just find one thing and stick to it. And then as I got older it was like no, I like a lot of different things. Let me try other stuff. But never like that. Is there anything else that like is on your resume that you've tried? Keep going.
Of course. Oh man. So I was a professional graphic artist for a while.
Okay.
As well as like an artist, like drawing and painting. And that's come back around because I became the design manager for Stomping Ground Comedy Theater.
Oh wow.
So whenever they need art for like their main shows or events, it's usually me who's doing it.
Oh, cool.
There's certain situations where it's like we have other folks do it.
Yeah.
Especially if there's like an event for like the gay community or like communities of color or something. It's like, why should I? Why should I be doing it? Like, let them represent themselves.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help if they want. But for the most part, I'm helping them with just what does the brand look like? What does it feel like?
Mhm.
And for me, that's really exciting. I get to do it again. And then number 2, they're a charitable organization. So it's like, all right, I'm really helping people with one of those other things that I just dabbled with for a while in the past,
Yeah. So do you have like a 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm in technology sales.
Oh,
I
cool.
like, software type of
Jeez.
thing. Why?
You've done
It's
so
just-
much.
Yeah, like
How old are you?
not everyone.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Oh, we're putting it all out there, folks. Now,
Well,
I'm,
he's 10 years older than me.
yeah, I'm 42.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 31.
Yeah.
About 10.
About to be.
Yeah. Don't listen to her. She's 75.
Stop. 75. Give me another 3 years.
Do the
God damn
math. Do the
it. And no, it's just cool. Like, some people are like scared to even try one thing.
Yeah.
So it's like to see somebody just give it their all at however many things you want to try is pretty cool.
Yeah.
With everything that you were doing, besides when it started affecting your grades, were your parents like supportive of it?
I guess we define supportive, No, when it came to, I had a guitar. At some point I had a drum set. And that's because they, supported me from that standpoint
Mhm.
to say, hey, we noticed that that's what you want to do. I'm sure they liked that it was that and not like, money for drugs or something like that,
Yeah.
Which you can find a lot of in Florida.
Florida, yeah. That's
for
cool.
sure.
Florida's a party The whole thing, right?
Florida's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun time.
Yeah, but I'd say from that standpoint, that's the generation of parents who like on the surface they're not like, really showing it or
Mhm.
affectionate, but like when you comb through it, you're like, oh yeah, like none of that would have happened without them actually backing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Somebody had to buy you that guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
How old were you when you first started playing? Like, were you
Like 13.
13? Okay,
And
middle
I
school.
borrowed someone else's guitar because they had it as a gift and weren't using it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept it to the point where one day like they came back with muscle and they're like, give the guitar back.
And then you had to get your own.
Yeah. But I was telling you about how this happened.
Yeah.
I started playing piano right before the pandemic. It was like September 2019. And then the pandemic happened and I had something to focus on
Mm-hmm.
for all those days stuck indoors and like going crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, let me get these scales down. And I was just like 2 times a day just drilling everything. And
Wow.
so I guess like this wouldn't happen. I wouldn't be here really
Right.
if all that didn't come together how it did.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So are you gonna play us something, or can we do?
What do you think about Old McDonald?
Start playing chopsticks.
I used to be able to do it. I can't do it anymore. Old MacDonald had a farm. But that's the only thing I know. Old MacDonald had a farm. Yeah. But that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
Something
it.
like that. Yeah. Ding 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 ding.
Let's get really sad with it.
No.
Well, yeah, I'm prepared to play something.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Do it now?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
listen to it.
So,
Oh no.
in the interest of time, I basically built the music, right? And what we're gonna do is I want to get a story from you all and like make up all the lyrics on the spot, while kind of like doing the different layers of the song over here, right? That's basically the story. But I did this event where they needed me to kind of do what I do using Taylor Swift songs. So what we're about to do is make podcast history. I'm improvising a parody of a Taylor Swift song.
Okay, I'm a Swiftie. Let's get it.
Let's get it. So, the question that I have for you all, right?
Uh-oh.
It is weird to have this going on in my face, but we'll make it work. The question I have for you all, and both of you, if both of you have a story, that would be great. Is have you ever broken up with someone for like what you would say is a strange reason? Or were they doing something really strange and messed up you didn't like?
Sort of.
Okay.
They were just
Sort of
annoying.
is good enough. It's better than a diabetic coma.
Well, actually, that's what it was. She was in a diabetic coma.
And she was 75. All right.
So if we can bloop that in. So,
Yeah. So we weren't even really dating, but we were talking for like the summer or whatever. And then she did something at a party that I didn't like, and then it just kind of like discouraged me from wanting to hang out with her. She was a little drunk. It was kind of weird.
What did she do?
We had kind of already stopped talking, but then she was drunk and she asked my friend like why he didn't like me or why I didn't like her anymore because I had already kind of stopped talking to her at that point. And it was like a week after the fact, So she just kind of got drunk and started asking all my friends why. Yeah.
And that's why you stopped talking?
Sort of, yeah.
Well, that was
that was after, and then that was the nail in the coffin where I was just like, all right, this is done.
That kind of blew it up. Because that was like, talk to me.
Yeah.
And don't be like weird and stalkery.
Yeah.
But do you remember why you cut the ties in the first place?
No, I just remember we stopped talking. I think it had something to do with my ex.
But it's controversial.
Okay. We like controversy, don't we?
I think, I was dating this one guy. We were actually boyfriend and girlfriend. But like, I didn't realize it then, but I'm thinking now maybe he was autistic. So
that was the air getting pulled out of him.
Are you sure he wasn't in a coma?
I would like try to engage with him and like have some sort of like connection, and he just wasn't giving anything back. And then it was like, oh, he's just an asshole. But now it's like, oh, maybe he was just not able to
Emote.
Emote.
I mean, that is a lot of guys, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but there's a difference. There's a clear like, break, and it's like you can understand what I'm saying, but you can't understand like the emotion part of it. Like if I'm mad, but I don't say it that I'm mad, he couldn't tell. So it would just be like a regular old day, and I'm like clearly mad, like
But
mad
why would you be mad though?
for whatever bullshit 16-year-old reason. But
Okay.
that's why I broke up with him because I thought he was autistic.
I'm gonna see if I can't pull both of these concepts in,
Okay,
or give you
maybe
both.
she was autistic too.
Maybe give you both a verse. You know?
Okay, yeah. Wait, do we sing? I'm not singing.
I don't think she
No,
was.
you don't have
Okay.
to sing. You don't have to sing.
You said give me a verse.
need
I
a
got
backup?
scared.
No, I mean, I'll try to do. Well, I don't want to overcommit. Let's see what happens.
Uh-oh. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah, you can hear it.
Let me hear it. I wanna try it.
You gotta let me know how my levels are. Whoa! Is that too loud? Well,
Oh,
I can't adjust the volume of my voice, so.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
How does the voice sound?
It sounds good.
Talking to the mic real quick.
Hello, hello, hello.
Not you.
Check. 1, 2.
Put it down a little bit.
Because
Mitch,
Yeah,
here you can tell.
Here,
when
give
I
me.
when I sing, I'm gonna get really loud.
Okay, yeah. Go.
Hey, this sounds scary. Hey.
Check.
Hey.
Whoa! Yeah! Yeah!
Okay, that should be good. All right.
I'll let it loop one more time. I'm sure you guys might try.
We don't edit anything at all.
Oh God. That's terrible. All right.
Reminds me of Run the Jewels.
The beat.
Yeah. You ever listen to Run the Jewels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Just stalling. That's all that's happening right now.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Late at night, you're at the party in my line of sight. And with my friends, asking questions and thinking that we still alright. And I heard you're asking around why I might have just left you. Cause you're too drunk to remember all the mean shit that I said to you.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Now that I think about it.
Me too. I was just being mean to this little autistic kid.
I think we're bad people.
One. You should back the fuck off, and I'm starting to get pissed, and now I'm crossing you straight off my list. You are that girl I left right on the side. I do not know what you're thinking in your messed up mind. You need to take a number and get back in line. Bitch, get the fuck out my life. Girl, get the fuck out my life. Yeah, too long I have dated you, but you don't show it. Now I'm on you.
Oh no.
I think I love you, but from your facial expressions, I think you don't know it. I don't know if all these feelings that I have's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But I know that these are all the symptoms of being autistic. You should get yourself tested before you get arrested. Because this is so suspect. I think you should try to give me a smile sometime. I need some affection to know Please get the fuck out of my life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Man, we can pick them, right? Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Let's do it. This is the remix. You ready? Okay. All right. But she stayed up too late. She had nothing on her brain. Man, I blame it on cocaine. I blame it on cocaine. And he just acted strange. He was still kind of a lame, with a face like Kurt Cobain. That doesn't make any sense. I'm just trying to rhyme. All right, real quick. Edit that to make sure I hit all the right notes. Please get the fuck. Please get the fuck. Please get the fuck. Please get the fuck out. He had no time to show me how he felt, and she could not deal with all those spicy cards I dealt. And I don't feel bad about all those things that I felt. So they can get the fuck out my life. They can get the fuck out my life. Yeah. Thank you.
That was awesome. My verse was better than yours.
It was.
What's it?
Yeah, that was good. That was awesome.
Yeah, because yours was more offensive. You broke up with a guy because he had autism.
To be clear, I didn't know that at the time.
You were 16. It's fine.
It's still easier to manage than a song about a diabetic coma and almost dying. So
How would you do it if you could? Have you thought about it?
Yeah.
of course I did.
How
Let's
would
hear
you
it.
do
Artist,
that?
I
Yeah.
torture myself.
Let's hear it.
Can you? Maybe.
I thought of two avenues about that. One I almost did during the song, and I kind of like skipped over it. It was about like, where the hell were you when I was in my coma, right?
Yeah.
Which could have been like, my friends weren't there, and could have been like, were you cheating kind of song.
Yeah.
I thought that would have worked. And then I kind of went into, on that song, something about like, I am addicted to candy, and that's how I ended up in a diabetic coma. And that could have been funnier.
That's kind of like the way that you went with it, though, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think I just felt like, I could have doubled down a little bit. There's
Yeah.
more. There's like more. You could talk about Willy Wonka. There's just like more.
There's a lot of
Trick or
ways that you
treat.
can go with it.
I'm dying. Like,
Yeah.
this.
But it is jarring. And that's kind of the thing of like improv when you're getting like suggestions from the crowd. I assume it's like, oh, Jesus, like you weren't really expecting that.
So that's why I kind of changed the approach. As you saw, like the prompt is, what did you get broken up for? Gives it a lane. And I felt
Yeah.
it's easier for you all
Yeah.
than like, oh, what drama am I, what?
Yeah, like it's so general. It was so generalized that you weren't able
Yeah.
to like.
And plus, everybody can kind of relate to that. Everybody's broken up with somebody for like a shitty reason.
Yeah.
I started doing one where it's like, who hates their job here? And every hand goes up. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, that's perfect. And I want to make fun of people's jobs and maybe get out some of the anger I have about about work.
Well, when you decided to start like changing it up, how was it? Like, was it night and day? Like when you started noticing
I feel
with
like
people?
I started this show like end of May.
Mm.
So what, we're now like 4.
Yeah.
I don't do math right. But basically like 4 months into it.
Uh-huh.
So everything's been an experiment.
Mhm.
And part of that was like, I was already kind of trying that out. But then I decided I can't have shows where it's so uncontrollable.
Yeah.
So doing it this way, yeah, it is night and day. I guess the short
Yeah.
short answer is yes. But it was a journey to get there.
Mhm.
And then I've had a lot of, we could say, like producers of shows be like, just some like suggestions here and there, which have been on the money, I'd say,
Mhm.
about like how can you get to the music faster? How can you make sure it's more controlled without like compromising what you do?
Mhm.
And like you just saw, I didn't have to spend 10 minutes looping the music,
Right,
and it was still
right.
funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was still improvised. I still got to solo and stuff.
Yeah.
So now on the shows, are you not so much doing it where you're creating the music on stage as well, or are you still doing that part?
I guess it depends on how much time I get.
Okay.
But what I'd love to do is just loop the main piano part, the main
Yeah.
chords, and then the bass line and the drums are all in there. So I don't have to do I did this one, like a Master P trap song,
Mhm.
and I was doing all these layers of synth, and the audience is just like politely like, okay, like, we're not interested in Master P anyway. So can you just hurry up with whatever this is? And like I could feel it. Oh, this is taking too long for
Yeah.
people. Coming from an improv world, I think sometimes we don't do the level of like self-editing and censorship for a good show that we could. Because most people come to see an improvised show knowing that it's going to be weird and you can go on a tangent.
Mhm.
But if you watch stand-up shows or other professional shows, you see that those people come in really tight on what they're planning to do,
Yeah.
in and out with it. And I think I need to like tighten it up.
Yeah.
Shape up or ship out.
Or
Well,
like
you did also just started, so it's like
Yeah.
like you said, it's a lot of trial and error with every show that you're doing. How do you practice for this? Are you just constantly creating like practicing making loops, and then just kind of making up scenarios in your head, like just
When well, I guess first part of the answer, right? I've been doing a musical improv a really long time.
Mhm.
And that includes freestyling,
Yeah.
starting in high school and battling people. I'd say that's the beginning
Mhm.
of making up lyrics really quickly, right? It's even harder to make up a rhyme than song lyrics because you have to fill in so many more words when you rap.
Mhm.
But that's kind of where that started. But I've been doing musical improv, I'd say since like 2019 or something,
Mhm.
starting in Miami. And so making up lyrics over songs for a long time, been pretty good, just getting better and better, we could say. I don't think I'm like, God's gift to it. But when I started this, I'm like, I really need to test it before I put it in front of an audience.
Mhm.
So I found this podcast where they interview random people on the street. And I listened to an interview, and then I was using a whiteboard in my house, and I wrote down like the key points of what was said in the interview. And then I hit play, and I started to just like see if I could do it.
Oh wow.
And I was like, this is working. This isn't too bad.
So that was kind of the precursor to everything. Was just like, oh, you kind of just started bringing out all the topics, and we're like, okay, cool. I can do this, so I can figure something out to where I can put it to an audience.
Because if it wasn't working out, and I couldn't, can I interview a person about a topic and then make it good enough?
Yeah.
And I felt I could.
Have you ever done it on the street? Like, have you ever just set up somewhere? Like,
I would love to, and like make a viral
Yeah.
TikTok of it, because you see people are doing that a
yeah,
lot
I've
now.
seen it quite a bit. There's a bunch of people that like how you're doing that loop music together, but they also have like guitars plugged in and everything.
Yeah.
So they just make like a song on the spot for somebody.
Yeah.
You notice most of those people aren't like, I feel like I'm in a different lane. You've got Harry Mack who can like rap his ass off.
Mhm.
And then you got people who are kind of like making music, but there's not people like making up full songs and all the lyrics to it. So yeah, I need to probably accelerate what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But so what made you want to like go to is our comedy shows where you thought it would do the best? Like where they're doing stand up?
I feel like those audiences, and what I've seen, those audience love it. Like the reception has been really good.
It was something completely different.
Mhm.
And I actually really liked it.
Thank you. I'll be candid with you all. Like, I think people see a musical comedy act as like an oddity. And so whoever's producing the show might not want to put it with other stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that from some reasons why that makes sense, but also on the other side, it's like, well, funny is funny, right?
Yeah.
So make it work, or say, well, we have comedy and musical comedy. That's it.
Yeah.
But I learned a few things about the business side of it. How fast can you set up? That's an important thing.
Yeah.
If I'm improvising everything, then how do I give a tape to like the booker and they know what they're getting? That's a big thing for some of those
Yeah.
bookers out there.
What do you mean the tape? Like an
Like they
audition?
want, some of them want to
Something
know
for them to
exactly
listen
what
to?
your set is,
Oh, okay.
from what I understand.
Gotcha.
So if I'm always improvising, they might not want to go with me.
Yeah.
Have you like experienced that?
You could do like a clip
No,
reel,
but
I
I was
guess.
kind of warned by someone who did not give me a spot. So I was like, well, it must be true
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that prophecy fulfilled itself.
That seems like an easy fix. Just do a clip reel, and if they like what you're doing, like set up like 3 clips or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if they like what you're doing, like, oh, okay, well, he can do something similar to this.
Yeah. Well,
Seems simple enough.
I'm just like you all. I'm posting it all over
Mhm.
TikTok, Insta, YouTube, and the following's growing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Eventually, it probably won't be a problem.
Yeah.
And then I can quit the day job. Hopefully, no one from work sees this.
What
And
is
knows
your
what I'm up
like
to.
life like? How do you fit this into your like daily life?
Oh man, it's tough. It is tough. So I practice piano every day. That's something that's like very calming. So I'm always working on just the skills in general. And for doing these shows, I basically create the song and the layers, right? And that doesn't take too long, but it's more about inspiration.
Yeah.
Like I'll be listening to something or like some podcast about music, and I'll be like, oh, I want to do like what if I did like a 60s British invasion song with like tambourine? I'll just have that idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then when I get the feeling, I'll go and I'll create it. And so that's ready to go at any time next time I do one of these shows. So let's say I get 10 minutes, then maybe I can do 2 different songs of stuff I already built. I just need to like refresh myself. And then all the rest is made up.
That's crazy. That's insane.
So there's part that's built, part that's work, and then part that's, like
Mhm.
decades of freestyling, basically.
Yeah.
But you're okay with like the change up, because I know it's like hard if whenever you start something and your dream or your ideal vision ends up not being that, but that's really how you wanted to start it off. So like for example, you wanted to like improvise everything on the spot, but now that you have to loop it, like are there any regrets? Like do you wish that you had just kept doing it how you did? I mean, I know that you have to like change it for like the shows and stuff.
I think it was a good wake up call of like not to be self-indulgent. It's about the audience and them getting the
Right.
best experience.
Mhm.
And someone told me like it's really cool to watch all the like layer looping, and it's like there's a wow factor to that, but it does take a long time.
Yeah.
So
And that's also something
yeah.
that seems like it's very it's something that's cool to a very specific type of person. Like, have you ever watched the Rhythm Roulette on YouTube?
No, I don't think so.
So what it is they get they get producers like rap like hip hop producers, and they tell them to go out to a record store blindfold, pick out records, and then they have to sample them and create a beat.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool.
I would love to watch that.
Yeah, our producer actually, Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's whatchamacallit, doing something similar to it, or he
Yeah.
can do it. Essentially, he's done it like a couple times.
Very cool.
Or he'll
And-
just,
Hook
like-
us up. I want to know what he's
yeah.
up to.
Oh
Okay.
my god, he loves like meeting like people that are like all about music. But
yeah, one of his favorite artists does something similar where she like traveled and she's on stage creating a song.
Very cool.
but
yeah.
it's every
Every instrument.
instrument
Yeah.
that she
This
has
is basically
on.
like a one-woman band.
Oh, that's nice.
And then she
Yeah.
does I think she already has the lyrics set, and then she makes music around it.
Very
So it's
cool.
like really cool.
I love that.
So her name's like Soul Sultana or something like that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Would you do that to where you flip it and just have the lyrics and then do the music?
Well, it's a good segue because recently I thought I really need to start writing songs.
Mhm.
I have all these like half-baked ideas and stuff. And I think that is good to have in my bag of tricks.
Yeah.
Like I can go do shows where I have the songs and I can improvise parts of it, or I can do, all right, one song improvised, one song totally written. I can do songs where there's no looping and I'm doing it live because at that point I practice it so much and I'll know all the lyrics.
Right.
So that's kind of the plan. Why don't I expand the repertoire
Mm-hmm.
in as many directions as I can so that I can fit any show? And also, as you know, the things you throw out there on the internet, like people want to see all different types of things.
Mm-hmm.
People want to see songs that are like really funny, and that the lyrics are, it's going to hit every time. So I think it makes the most sense. I should be doing stuff like that
Yeah.
where it's all kind of pre-written too.
But I mean, I guess like you do want the audience participation aspect of it, right? Like to where you are engaging the crowd and getting their own stories and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'd love to keep doing that.
Yeah.
I think maybe in the future splitting the show up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
where there's fully improvised, there's fully written, and then there's these weird in between ones
Yeah.
where maybe I know the chorus and I'm kind of going towards it. So
Yeah,
there
having
yeah.
something to kind of like fall back on, like a chorus, would probably be good,
Yeah.
just from like a structure standpoint.
There was a show I did recently where I had the chorus fully worked out in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And when I asked the audience for their stories, I got a response totally different from where I was going. And I had to improvise it anyway.
Yeah.
And it ended up being great. But
Jeez.
that's the unpredictable nature of it.
Yeah, and that's the fun of it, is it keeps you on your toes, and that works out like a different muscle in your brain where you're just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like now I was trying to go right, now I got to zig.
Yeah.
I got to zig when I should have zagged, kind of stuff, you know?
If I fully gave up on that, then the muscle would you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atrophy. That would be bad, probably.
Yeah. So it's good that like how you were saying, you pull from all the aspects of your life and all the things that you've done. The freestyling seems like is what really helped out a lot.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
You can get really good at that,
Yeah.
but not have to freestyle to make it work out for something.
Mm.
I'm sure there's tons of people who freestyled, when they were younger and then they never do it again. But they've honed their lives as a lyricist.
Mm-hmm.
And they could probably write lyrics better than people on the pop charts today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Um, I've seen some stuff online where it's like, oh man, all of the production work that went into this like funny video and the rhymes like it's not it's like really weak.
Yeah.
And there's like no cadence to it. There's a lot of people out there who could be using their talent,
Yeah. It's also like a weird thing because of the fact that you're doing something that's like you have to be quick on your feet. I feel like that also translates into other aspects of life. Like you just have to learn how to pivot. I think that's a very good skill to have in life.
I agree. When I got into improv comedy, this is a while back. Like it was at a point in my life I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. Like I had lost it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a long story behind that. It's all good. But finding like-minded people, like other artists, people who just like being different, and was one part of how like comedy helped me.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part is that confidence on my toes, where like, it doesn't matter what is thrown at me. Like I can overcome anxiety or like those hurdles that I put in front of myself type of thing.
Yeah.
Get
You
out
can
of my
the
own
mental
head.
blocks out.
Yeah. It's a mental block thing more than anything. But a big part of that is your self-confidence. You're saying you can't do it before you even try. And yeah, definitely comedy was a huge catalyst. A story about that. So I'm in technology sales, and I started like an inside sales. You ever seen like Wolf of Wall Street and stuff? Like they'd have these morning meetings where everyone's like, yeah, we're going to sell kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they'd have these like every quarter, they'd be like, how's this team doing against their target? We're at 100%. Yeah. And everyone would, they allowed like representatives of each team to go out and do like a little kind of funny speech before they gave like, here's how we did on our numbers or whatever. And so I started writing little bits or like some stand-up jokes for those specifically, or like funny poems, and they were crushing.
Could you do one right now or no?
I don't remember the ones. I don't remember. But they're also so specific to that world.
Yeah.
You might not know the jargon.
Right.
But that's also, if you're doing a show where it's a very specific audience, like you have all these built-in jokes you can do, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of how, at least for me, like that's how stand-up kind of came into, where I would just make my friends laugh, but it's because I knew how to make them laugh.
I was worried. I was worried. I was
sorry.
worried. It was a very bad accident.
My
Yeah.
bad.
But I just know how to make my friends laugh just because I know what they find funny. So I know the things to say that'll like get them to laugh or whatever. So that's where the confidence came in to be like, oh, you should do stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing it?
A little over a year now. A year and like 2
He's
months.
not that good. So I
I
guess we'll
bet he's
see in
amazing.
another
I'm fine.
couple of years.
Yeah. I just started, so you know.
Well, there goes that thing with the confidence. It's like
Yeah.
even if you think you're not good, like you still gotta go up there and pretend, like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bomb
And
a lot.
hard.
Eat a lot of dicks.
Yep.
I didn't think that you thought that you did bad with the diabetic coma thing because I really liked it.
It's just maybe the nerves of like, a whole audience of people who might not have wanted to
Yeah.
see or thought they would see that.
Yeah. I know I keep saying this, but the venue is also weird because of the stage.
Yeah.
And for you, I assume being closer to the audience is very helpful. So
For
you
sure.
didn't even perform on the stage.
No, I
brought-
was up there. But
No, I
right
thought-
on the edge. I was right on the edge of
I
it.
thought you brought your setup down on the
No,
floor.
I was right on the edge of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know why I remember you being on the floor.
Yeah.
I thought you were closer.
No, I was up there.
Or am I thinking
Was
of somebody
that
else?
is that too far, like away? What?
You know what? Like I did a show recently where they're kind of like it's in a bar, but everyone's a little set back and it's too loud to hear people laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
And I could feel more nervous, like I was
Mhm.
like had to overcome myself.
Mm.
So yeah, it definitely plays a part. Like I'm used to theaters and like improv theaters where you can actually hear live if they like
Yeah.
it or not,
Mhm.
and then you can adjust based on it. And that's always better for any type of comedy. If you can hear what they like, then you can adjust and move in that direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's part of it. Maybe part of why I was like, oh, I'm bombing. I'm eating shit.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh my gosh.
crazy.
No, but I really liked it. It wasn't anything that I was expecting to see up there.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
thought we were just like gonna see stand up.
I
Honestly.
remember looking at Rick and being like, "Is this?
Is this happening?
Yeah, what's going on
What's
right
going
now?"
on?
Yeah. It's crazy. I would say, and yeah, because I'm an advocate, trying improv comedy won't hurt your stand up for sure.
Yeah, a lot of stand-up comedians have done at least like 1 or 2 improv classes, and they say that it helps them a lot. I need to do it.
Yeah.
I tried to sign
yeah.
him up for a class one time, but he didn't go to it.
He went to 2
I had to work.
and he came out singing Old McDonald.
I do need to go to an improv class.
But
Just try it out.
The ability to like snap into character or
Yeah.
access emotion so that you're not just saying the words you wrote kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I have a big problem with that. I kind of just recite what I'm saying, or I say like a very loose version of what I wrote down, just like in the moment.
Yeah.
But I think being able to like jump into a character, I don't know, finding your voice in comedy is so weird and like so difficult.
I kind of feel like, at least for me, when I was getting towards the end of when I was doing stand up, it's like every bit is a character because
Mhm.
I'm putting on a slightly different face.
Yeah.
And so that improv thing of like having 1,000 characters in your bag like really helped because I snapped into that emotion
Mhm.
and now I'm telling the joke from that point of view.
Yeah.
And you can see the best comedians doing that.
Yeah, I did a show at Stomping Ground. It was essentially what you had to do was the audience wrote in topics, and then you had to pick a topic while you were on stage, spin a wheel, and the wheel had emotions on it.
Oh.
Yeah, so you had to pick the topic, and then
Do it angry or something.
yeah, exactly. So I got public schools, I think. And I
I'm
think
angry already.
yeah, I think the emotion was like contempt or something or anger. But I didn't do it correctly because I was coming from a stand-up world. So I just did material on my shitty high school. And funny enough, there was people from my high school that were there that had graduated like a little before me.
Oh,
so
that's
I was like, yeah, I went to a shitty high school. I went to a shitty public high school. I'll say the name. I don't give a shit. WT White. And then
And
there was
they were
people
like,
that were like, yeah. And
Wildcats.
I was like, yeah, go Longhorns. And then
Go Longhorns. He was also a cheerleader.
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, and I didn't like complain about it like in an angry way. I just did material on like why my school was shitty, essentially.
As long as everyone had a good time, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
But it really doesn't doesn't. It's not. It wouldn't hurt, right? I think.
I definitely want to try it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm always going to be an advocate for it. And
Has there ever been like a time when you were doing like traditional improv where it's just you go up, like, have you ever been like an improv troupe or anything?
yeah. So I do that now,
Uh-huh.
but it's musical.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm saying like without the music. Like, have you ever done that? Okay.
Did it for a long time.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time where you broke, like on stage? You just...
We break all the time.
Yeah.
We want to bust each other's balls.
Okay.
So I started my formal improv training was at a theater in Miami called Villain Theater, which they're really, really, really good at improv, and they're really good at musical improv. What I can say about them is it's kind of like a pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough environment. There's competition. People rank on each other behind the scenes and stuff like that. I don't know if it's still like that, so sorry. But it brought out the best in people because the people who wanted to be there and fight and be the best, they stayed.
Yeah.
And so the shows were phenomenal. And it's Miami, so there's just so much, like, it's not bland. There's so much spice. We could say that, right? There's sazon and sofrito and
there you go. Love that.
You know what I'm talking about? There's just so much there, and they were powerful. So I got to learn from them, and I got to learn really good chops on just straight up improv without musical. But I wanted to be on their musical team, and eventually I got that chance. And as soon as I could, I was dropping this punchline type of attack. And they were like, okay, all right. Now we got someone who can actually put some things together that are a little bit more advanced. So it all worked out. And I learned so much there that I, eventually got to bring in here to Dallas.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. So you've basically been performing since you were in high school then?
Yeah, but I there was a time when I stopped, Right after college, I didn't do anything.
For how long?
How long?
Like years?
Yeah, like a decade.
How was that? A decade?
A decade?
There's
A
more to
full
the
decade?
story that you all don't know about me.
Yeah.
So after college, I moved to Japan.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
This is just like a very... All right, we
I
just
have
took a
photo
left
evidence. I have photo evidence.
turn. I don't think you're telling the truth, but
so
all right.
So I lived there 9 years.
What'd you do in Japan?
Well, originally I went as an English teacher. That's how most people get into the country.
Yeah.
And I just stayed. I worked hard to get better and better at Japanese because I was like, I want to stay. And I want a regular 9 to 5 if I can make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept trying. And then the housing crash happened. And
Okay, yeah.
In 08?
yeah. Exactly. So I was there starting 2004. 2008, I'm like, I need to get out of English teaching and pivot. And then they're like, the Lehman Brothers shock, as they call it there, happened. And they started just firing foreign people. Because they're like, we don't need to pay extra for these nice pets,
Yeah.
You're a foreigner.
Yeah. I definitely am a foreigner. over there, there was a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah.
Man.
So did you come back in 08?
No, I stayed.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that
but
would
you
have
were
been
just
4 years.
Yeah, but you were just not gonna do the teaching thing anymore.
Well, I had to go back into it. Eventually, I got a job doing a lot of different things, but there was a company that wanted to open a U.S. office. They were a printing and manufacturing company, so the graphic design kind of came back around. And me and another American guy joined and trained, and then helped them build this first office in California, in Torrance, California, which is where a lot of Japanese folks are.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 months after relocating back to the U.S. and California, I was fired. They invested a year and a half in me and moving me back to the States. And I got let go.
Oh my God, why?
Partially because of financial issues, but partially because they were messing up.
Oof.
And I was calling them out on it, which you probably shouldn't do in a Japanese company. But I was so stressed.
Really? That's interesting. Because the culture there is you work hard and then you kind of take the jabs as they come,
You bite your tongue.
Is that a lot of it?
For sure. Well,
that's why they all kill themselves.
That might be part of it too.
Well, why were you stressed out of the job?
They hired us to move us to the States and start this business. but the CEO, it was his pet project, and he was very wishy-washy. And he was like, okay, we're going to all move and relocate next month. Oh, no, it's going to be 3 months. Oh, no, it's going to be 2 weeks from now. And I had a basically a newborn at the time. I have kids, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like eating me. And I was like getting more and more on edge.
Imagine just like not
Having
ever really
kids and-
knowing
yeah.
what's going to happen. And then you have a, oh my
Like you just all of a sudden have to move
So-
across the world.
Wait, so are they Japanese?
Who?
Your kids?
Oh, yeah. They're
half Japanese?
They're biracial, yeah.
Oh, no,
Nice.
but I meant they were born over there?
One was and one was not. One was born here. Yeah.
In California? Or
No. Our second child was born after we came back to Florida. So yeah, it was a while before I ended up here.
Wait, like, so I love stories. So, like, how did you meet your wife?
So I was in college in Tampa, as we were talking about. Go Bulls, I guess. And
I don't know what the bull would be.
yeah, I guess we do that, right? We can
That's
do
a
bull.
That's a
longhorn.
longhorn.
You can just do it.
Ribbit.
Ribbit.
Everybody in the crowd just goes.
It's not a bullfrog, it's a bull.
Everyone's having a seizure. What's happening?
I
So-
moved to change that too. There you go.
I think that was a suicide fall thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And that ties back into the Japan thing because
Yeah.
everyone's just committing suicide left and
my
right over there.
I don't think that's a thing.
Suicide forest
Are
is in
suicide-
Japan.
So I want to say
I don't think the suicide rates are as high
no,
as they
they are
used to be.
super high.
Yeah.
like,
Are they?
compared-
Look at the stress he was just talking about. He
yeah,
was so
globally,
stressed.
Globally? That's
Well-
a smaller country.
There's a whole forest
So per
dedicated to
capita.
suicide over there.
there's just a lot of holding in the thing you really want to say there,
Oh, okay.
and there's a lot of social pressure that people put on each other, even without saying it. There's a vibe. There's great things about Japan, but there's definitely a vibe where everyone's kind of watching what everyone else is doing, and that can end up being really stressful.
Yeah.
You're always looking over your shoulder, or always comparing yourself, or always like feeling like you're not keeping up with social norms.
Yeah. There's a Black Mirror episode kind of about that. You ever watch Black Mirror?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one where the social currency
Oh
one.
yeah, that one's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
don't like
one.
that show.
It's cool. It's cool. It's creepy. It puts you in a weird headspace. I like it.
Is it scary, like gorish?
It's not scary like that.
No.
It's more scary, like existential kind of shit.
It's like heady.
Oh.
It's like heady. What if this was our reality?
Yeah,
someday?
it's very much that of like this is
Oh, I don't like that.
this is what real life is going to be. Because the episode that I was talking about is essentially like everybody is on their phones, typically, like basically, and that you have a social currency. So the interactions that you have with people get graded on a scale of 1 to 5, and only the 4s and the 5s are basically like the upper echelon of society.
Whoa.
And then this woman that you're following, because all the episodes are like, it's an anthology, so every
Yeah.
episode is different. It's like a completely different thing. It's a
Yeah.
whole new universe, whole new topic, whole new characters, everything. So in this episode, the woman that you're following, her social currency starts to get lower and lower and lower. But she was one of those people that she was like a high 4 or like low 5
She
or
has
whatever.
a bad day and it spirals.
Yeah, and it's
until
just
she falls apart. And
Yeah.
people treat her like a homeless vagabond and stuff.
yeah, and then you just start seeing her unravel because she's very much like,
Yeah.
oh, I am my number. Everybody else is their number. Any interaction I have, like she has an interaction with a 3 at one point, and she's kind of like, this is gonna fuck me up. Like this is gonna fuck my number up. I cannot talk to you for more than 2 seconds, and I cannot have anybody see
Yeah.
me talking to you.
What?
Yeah,
But some people are like that.
that's
weird.
but that's
Anyway.
Yeah.
that's another thing about it is it's not
That's
like
social media.
yeah, the show is cool because it's not even just a thing of like, oh, this is a reality that could be happening. It's they pull a lot of things out of like real life that are
Like,
happening, like social media, how you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's a good show.
It's worth watching for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
It's fun.
We sold her. We did it.
Well, I just said a Black Mirror. I just thought it was like gorish stuff, like
Oh,
scary
no.
stuff.
No, there's not
Thriller-ish,
many.
kind of maybe.
There are some that are like the one with those robot dogs,
Oh yeah,
know what I
That's
mean?
a little.
which is like action thriller kind of. But most of it is more heady. Yeah,
Yeah.
existential.
Like the one with the what do you call it when they're in the pods and the people.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I hated that one.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Oh, we
yeah.
already
But
spoiled.
I hated it because it was good. Like they did a good job, you know.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
it makes you really think of like, shit, would I choose that life?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
really
shit,
cool.
I
All right,
wanna
sorry.
watch
We're
it. I want to.
It's a good show. You really want to talk about it. I want to watch it every time I talk
Um,
about it.
going back on the Japan thing, I guess. People there, if they join like a company, they basically have a job for life. It's like how the U.S. used to be, right? If you worked for GE or something, you were a company man, and you know.
I've got people at my job that have been there like 30 years.
Right, but I feel it is kind of not an expectation here. People hop to get better salaries, but there it's like once you're in. And I think there's some good and bad things to that. There's good social welfare; people are taken care of. There's national health care that's really good. But you can see where like a foreign person doesn't really fit into the model. Right?
Yeah.
Like how do you really get into that groove and live that life? So eventually, like,
especially as like coming from somewhere where we are essentially like a melting pot of people, and you go somewhere where the vast majority is Japanese people, and it's like a weird thing of like, oh, now I'm coming in as the other. Like even before I step off the plane, I am the other.
Yeah.
So I need to work to prove myself, but also I might never be able to. In certain people's eyes, I might never be able to meet the standard.
For sure. And I had
It's very difficult.
I had to meet that face on, because like I worked really hard to learn Japanese, and I was like, just to kind of
difficult
be accepted. And yeah, there's certain people, it's like you'll never.
Yeah,
you're just like
matter.
a talking tree. It's like, you see the tree talks. That's crazy.
That's a funny way to say it.
Doesn't matter how good or what words I knew. It's like, man, it's cool that you can talk. Like that's it.
Hey, we can communicate with this.
I don't ever want to go to Japan.
But it's not just Japan. It's places that are homogenous.
Yeah.
I had to learn that.
Well, Japan's history is very like isolationist.
Yeah.
For a long period
Very
of time,
much
it was
so.
very isolationist, where it was just like we don't trade with anybody.
Yeah.
Everything is in house, and we only have Japanese people here. So it's
then they open up, and Portugal came with sugar, and they're like, "Oh man,
where was this RO?
Start rubbing it here. Wait, we've been missing out.
Rubbing sugar on your gums.
You got another bump? Hold on. That literally did happen, though. They didn't.
Yeah.
They opened up one port. The Portuguese came, and of course they were trading all over like Southeast Asia, and they brought sugar, and sweets happened in Japan. Sweets started. Yeah, and so the Japanese sweets you might know today, some of the more old school ones, are like rice mashed up with sugar in it, and some variation of that. And
what is
they're
it?
super
Mochi?
good.
The mochi?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of mochi.
I love. Oh my god! I
fan.
can eat a whole box in a minute. I swear, I love it
They're
so
super
much.
good.
Yeah.
I like to pretend I'm doing ASMR. Yes.
I hate
so
that. I don't have that
love it.
gene
I
in me or
love
that
it.
brain like wiggle that's just like, oh yeah, this sounds awesome. I hate it.
So good.
It's so weird to me. It makes my skin crawl.
I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
It's one of those things where you think about when you notice someone is like chewing or eating loudly. That's when it gets on your nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine. We in high school. We all went, like 4 of us went to McDonald's. And I think I was having like a shitty day already, and he chewed with his mouth open. And we were all. I had gone out to eat with this man multiple times a week for years. We would always hang out, and I never noticed it until I noticed it. And then I was mad enough that I said something. I was like, "Can you not fucking chew with your mouth open? Why are you doing that?" And then he goes, "Well, I have a condition. I can't breathe through my nose when I'm eating. So if I don't, I'll die."
Was that legit?
It was legit. I asked his mom about it later.
Whoa!
And I was like, "Carry on."
Oh hell no!
And
die.
I just had to block it out of my head.
This is a Black Mirror episode.
I felt so bad about it because it was like, if I don't do it, I'll die.
Our mom used to hate it when we were chewing like that. So like that's a trigger for me now. Like, can you stop chewing like a cow? But some people didn't grow up like that. Some people grow up with like.
Because their parents didn't mind it, so it was just like, and they don't tell them anything because they're like, oh yeah, I don't like. It's not that big a deal.
I'm like,
I can't do it.
No.
You guys made me think of like just all the things that were yelled at me or whatever. The things instilled in us.
Yeah.
Like, what are those things? Like, do you live in a barn? Like, close the door type of stuff.
Yeah. Chew with your mouth closed.
The lights.
Yeah.
Keeping the lights on.
What are you, a cow?
Yeah. I remember our dad would harp on us a lot about keeping the lights on.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, because it's expensive. And I remember when we had separate rooms at one point, and we all went out as a family for like the entire day. And then we came back, and whenever you were coming in our apartment, like when you come from the parking lot, you see my window. So we come back at night, the light
The
was
light
on
is
the
on.
entire day, and I thought he was gonna rip me a new one, but he just looks up and he's like, "Your light's on," and it was just a thing of like, "Fuck, that's gonna be so expensive." Where he was just like, "All right, we just gotta pay for this." And
Oh,
it was worse than if he would have been like, "Why the fuck did you leave the light on?" It
The
was just like,
disappointment was
yeah,
palpable.
because he just tapped me on the shoulder and he was like, "Your light's on," and then he just walked inside and I was like, "Oh fuck!" I was so scared.
Disappointment ASMR.
There you go.
You just felt it.
Yeah, that was when I was like 11. I still think about it at least once a week.
Good.
It happens with my kids too.
How old are your kids?
5 and 10.
Okay.
5 and 10, and they're great. They're not
Mhm.
perfect. Boys are really tough. I have 2 boys. They're really tough.
She's got 5.
Oh my goodness.
I have 5 boys.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have 5 boys.
Well, 6. Our oldest is
That's a
18.
madhouse.
Yeah.
That's a madhouse. All right, so you get it.
Yeah.
Like I see people with like their daughters or something. Like someone I know, I went somewhere that I go to sometimes, and the receptionist had their daughter behind the counter,
Mhm.
and the daughter was quietly doing like
Oh, my
watercolors.
kids could never.
Never. I was like, they have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea how.
But
like,
they get it back tenfold in attitude. Because I have friends that just have daughters,
yeah.
and they're like, I know that you think that physically you have it hard because they're everywhere at
Mhm.
once. They're like, but like the mental fuckery that girls
Yeah.
will like.
Girls are evil.
Girls are evil,
Strategic.
manipulative, like, and that's coming from me. I'm the most I think I'm a very good gaslighter. I gaslight really well.
Nah.
And
Well, you would say that.
yeah,
You're gaslighting us into thinking you can gaslight people. That's weird.
and I can
It's layered.
but my kids couldn't even like they can't lie to me. You know, my boys they don't lie to me. I mean, I'm sure they try to, but it's very hard for them. You know, they can't
Mhm.
remember the lie that they thought
You
of
can
2
sniff it
minutes
out
ago.
easily,
Yeah.
Little boys are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Boys are dumb.
Well, men are too.
Yeah. Well, that's how they start off, you know.
Yeah.
And you would think that they get better as they get older, but they actually get worse.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing with our toys. They just get bigger and more expensive.
Yeah.
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 I
There you go.
agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
10 and 5.
It's way better to be a boy, though. Am I right?
Hey, well, I don't think we're supposed to do this, but it's okay.
We control the world.
Yay. This is gonna come back to haunt me.
Sorry, that's kind of our thing.
My words.
Yeah, doesn't agree with anything.
I'm a known misogynist.
Honestly, yeah. Stop. It's uncomfortable,
No,
clearly.
it's such a deep topic. It's like I don't know.
Misogyny?
There's
Yeah.
just
It's weird.
that and
It's
just
weird
like
actually being a misogynist. It's weird.
just
Yeah.
the politics between men and women is such a deep topic. Like you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
honestly,
It's a
yeah.
weird thing right now. I feel like it's being blown up a lot where it's like very much women against men, you know?
Mhm.
Where it's just like, we could just
We kind
We
of
can hang
We
out
could
together.
just treat each other well.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
can just treat
you
the
can understand that it's
person
difficult to be a
next to
man
you.
and also as equally, if not more difficult to be a woman.
yeah.
I think a lot about like the non-binary concept and how a lot of our thinking and things we learned in our childhood are all based on these roles,
Mhm.
these
Mhm.
gender roles. And then even like if you think about stand-up comedy, it's like, well, men are like this and women are like this. What happens to these concepts? All the time I think about like these bits that are like, here's how men are, because I'll do something and I'm like, oh, I'm such a dumb guy. But then I think about, well, where does this all come from? And is this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to break it down further, but also I don't think I'm the right voice to do that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And so I don't know about you all, but I spend a lot of time just thinking about that. It just revolves, it like eats itself
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah.
These concepts that I've had since the beginning and everything that's going on now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it that's why we make such like so much like I don't know. I make fun of it because at some point it's like that will it ever change if it hasn't already within the last like a bajillion? I mean, it's gotten better, but like has it, you know?
Mm.
And then there's all these like guys out here that have their own podcasts and that like the Andrew Tate or like the Fit Fresh whatever guys. And it's like
Who?
there's these guys that are just like alpha male and they're like what high value men or whatever. and it's like, okay, but we've all like, I don't think you're at the right stage
Era.
anyway. Yeah, like we're already done with that, but we're really, I mean, we're not.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like make fun of it because
Yeah, I make fun of it because I think everything is silly. To care about things is silly to me.
yeah,
Yeah, we're just floating on the rock. None of it matters. We're all gonna go into the dirt.
yeah, he thinks a lot about death, and
Yeah.
so
I'm a nihilist
I
at
don't know
heart.
where we got, how we got here.
Yeah. No, it's not a problem. It is. I mean, this is all really interesting, and also I think there's a like a bit of a generational divide too in some
Mhm.
ways. Like I even noticed it with how like younger millennials like text
hmm
Mm.
way different. Cause like I'm an elder millennial. I'm like right at the beginning,
hmm
and I was working with people like 8 to 10 years younger, and I'd write this whole thing to them of like related to work or venting about something, and the response I got back was "Hey," and that's it. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
How rude.
There is, but there is the thing about like, yo,
Okay, I get
just
that.
let it go. You
Yeah,
know?
I
Yeah.
get that because I'm like a younger millennial. I was born in '94.
You
Yeah.
wish.
But also like if it like to me like texting a whole long conversation, I feel like just give me a call. We can talk this on the phone. Like
Yeah.
it's a little
Yeah, but
easier.
also like the younger millennials think that that's such an abrasive and like thing to do.
Talking
Is
on the
just a
phone?
cold call.
No.
That's a yeah, it's a thing. Cold
No,
calling.
I don't at least.
Well, I'm saying younger millennials, like younger than you. I
What's the
think.
youngest millennial?
I
Who's the
guess
youngest
being called
millennial?
without warning though.
Yeah, be like, hey, give me a call, or like, can I call you? If you're just calling somebody abruptly, but and
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't think I'm like a younger millennial, but like even me, like I can't just call somebody out of
No,
nowhere.
I don't wanna do it.
So
I'd
the
rather just text.
Yeah.
The millennial years are between 1981 and 1996.
Oh, so you are a younger
Yeah,
millennial.
I think I'm.
You're not a millennial.
Yeah, I am. 1994, 2 years before you
Oh, okay,
or
sorry.
after
sorry.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See.
so I'd be like the last 2 years of a millennial.
Hmm.
But it's just weird. I think that's weird. I guess it's because like in middle school when I started talking on the phone, it was only talking on the phone. You
Yeah,
know?
because I still have.
I would call
phone.
people on the landline.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like I
So
still
you're one
did
of the
that.
last groups who had
Who
that.
had-
Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
It's weird because I feel like people that are like even just 5 years older than me are like, you've been texting probably since you were in elementary school. I'm like, no, not really. We were also poor.
Yeah. I mean pagers, because there were pagers first.
Yeah,
Like,
pagers
we
that
had
we didn't.
beepers.
We had pagers in our house, but they
Our
were
parents
like
had them.
our parents had them, so it had already transitioned to like cell phones, right? So they were
Yeah.
in our house as knicknacks.
Yes, actually, yeah.
Just like
I remember looking at them.
artifacts of an older
At that,
age.
yeah, at
And then
that
we
point
have-
they had given
yeah.
it to us to play with,
Yeah, essentially.
Very cool.
but we knew what they looked like and we knew what they were.
We had
used
them to
for.
communicate.
Very important things. I'm
On Morse code, is it like Morse code?
No, it's
No,
not
we
Morse
had
code.
specific.
There was like
code. everyone
911.
knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was essentially like LOL and everything. Like
Yeah.
everybody just communally knew that's what that stood
I believe
for.
433 was "Where Are You," and then there was 143 "I Love You." 43 was "F you." A lot of 4-3s in there because it was based on how many
Yeah.
numbers were in, how many letters were in the phrase. I was 1, love 4 letters, you is 3.
Oh,
So one
okay.
time I did
I
get
always wondered how the numbers were. 911 is an obvious one, but
yeah. I did get a page that was 14343 14343. I love you, fuck you. I love you, fuck you. We could do a song about that. Ready?
There you go. Let's do it.
well, actually, we do kind of have to wrap up
Yeah.
here.
Could
but
you like do like a song for us?
About what?
just a
What do we-
theme song?
A
what are we
brother
doing?
sister that hate each other.
Oh man. Oh, I don't know. What are we gonna do?
Anything, do whatever.
Okay.
Sign us out with this.
Let's do it. No pressure, right?
I love you. I hate you. I love you. I hate you.
1, 4, 3, 4,
I still don't understand that
even-
concept, but we're
1,
gonna
4,
go with
3.
it.
It's the 1 is because I is a 1-letter word,
Yeah.
and then the 4 is because love is a 4-letter word.
But what if it was like I find you?
But
That's
you
still
wouldn't.
4.
It's not a common phrase. So.
Yeah. I love you is a
okay,
common
okay,
phrase.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's not like you can just type whatever and make a sentence because no one would know what those numbers mean.
So what if-
we all had set things we knew?
It's like LOL or LMAO.
Oh, okay,
Everybody
okay.
knows what that means. So when you type it,
So what if you're like your mom is like bring milk?
No,
no,
she would
it's
text
not
you.
like texting. It's not like
So-
texting.
She would just text and put the phone number or 911 or something. We also, all of our friends had like a 2-digit code and we knew it was them. So if I got like 10 and then something, I knew, oh, that's Chris.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
We each had our own
That's
little,
so cool.
it's ingenuity, human ingenuity.
Yeah. It's kind of a thing of
Can we
like,
go back to that?
I feel like that's going to come back in a weird way where it's going to be like this weird thing of like Apple created this and like that's just a pager, you know? I feel like that's going to do.
I am Morse code.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm Morse.
I feel like it's going to be like they're going to think like it's a quicker way to communicate, but it's just going to be a pager. Somebody had put online, like they put a status where they were like, I wish on my Facebook page or my Instagram page I could put like a playlist of music, you know, that people can see it and go to it and play it, like just the music that I'm thinking of. And somebody commented like, that's just MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace.
You're right. Is there anything else you all could tell me about like your upbringing? That
We hated each other up until we were about 13.
abandoned by our father.
We were abandoned by our
you?
father.
Yeah.
Because of the lights, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my fault. That was directly my
that
fault.
was the last day you saw
Yeah.
him.
I have a lot of anger towards him because of that.
He went to the store to get
Because
a
if
new
it
light
wasn't
bulb
for
and-
him just switching the light off, we would have still had our daddy.
Regret.
Her light was also on that day. It was just, you only saw mine. So it was only.
Oh yeah, likely story.
ASMR regret.
Yeah.
We're 2 years apart. I'm smart and he's
She's an
dumb.
idiot.
But we love each other.
I don't
He
know.
We're
just
stuck
got
with-
engaged.
We're stuck with each other.
That has
Congrats.
nothing to
Thank
do
you.
with it.
Congrats.
Yeah, that was nothing.
Well, let's see what we can do. I'm just gonna. I don't have like a lot of.
That's
Turn down a little bit just in case.
Yeah.
That bass is pretty loud.
Let's see. Take us out. This is our new. Also, how much would you charge us if we wanted to buy it if it's good?
I'll just write you guys a real one.
Oh, this is cute.
I don't remember everything that's on here, so I'm like pushing buttons. What do we got?
Mexican.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I have no idea what I'm about to say, so we'll figure it out.
It's a way to work through our trauma.
Yeah, you got it right. I got my sibling here, we always like to fight. I don't like to lose, I make sure I'm not last. Especially when we sit down here for our fucking podcast. We are sibling rivals. Sibling rivals. Sibling rivals. Fighting for survival. Yeah, we are sibling rivals. Oh, excuse me. Sibling rivals. We're fighting for survivals. I told you once before about your bedroom light. Left it on all goddamn day, deep into the night. Papa was a rolling stone, he left it, it wasn't right. But I got a new enemy that's right in my sight, because we're sibling rivals. We're sibling rivals. Oh, sibling rivals. No, no, no. Sibling rivals. Sibling rivals. Oh, sibling rivals. Oh, sibling rivals. Yeah. I'm sibling rivals. All right, what am I going to do? I don't know. Hold on.
Hey.
That's a text message I got. Hold on. All right. Just thinking out loud. Sorry. How did we end up in this place? I kinda need my own damn space. How did we take it this far? This is my disappointment ASMR. Brother, I love you. Sister, I don't care. I am not regretting when I pulled your hair. Okay. Sister, I love you. Brother, you're a dick. Sometimes you're on my nerves, motherfucker, and you lay it on too thick. Daddy, why'd you leave us? Mama, why you here? We're still waiting for you to come back from buying beer. Okay, yeah. He went to the store and he never came back. Hope he fell in a ditch and had a heart attack. Sibling rivals.
That reminds me, I gotta call him and tell him about the engagement.
Sibling rivals. Oh, sibling. Oh, sibling. I forgot the chords for sibling. We are siblings. All right.
Oh, that was awesome.
I didn't know it was
That was
doing a
great.
second song.
I loved it. You hit it out the park right there,
That was great.
buddy.
I should use the title of the podcast.
It's all right. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's true. How do we rhyme with
Chismes and Menudo.
Chismes and Menudo? It's a little tough.
Hey, you got closer
I can
than
do-
almost anybody else.
I can do Chismeria and Santeria. No.
Santeria.
Those don't even rhyme.
That's scary.
Sort of, a little bit. Anyway,
I'm gonna spend the whole ride home trying to figure out.
Figure that out,
Chismes.
yeah.
Let us know. Buy that shit. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming
Thanks
on the
for having me.
podcast.
This is really
Yeah, it was a
fun.
lot
This
of
was
fun.
amazing.
Yeah.
You're our
Learned a
first
lot.
like musical anything like this.
Yeah, the first
like,
musical performance of
yeah,
the show.
that
And
we
we
ever
broke
have
podcast history
on.
We did.
with the first improvised Taylor Swift parody song.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you
Oh,
so
yeah.
much, Dan.
Oh, plug anything.
Yeah, plug
Instagram,
it
TikTok,
all.
all of it.
Put it out there, buddy.
Tuned Out Comedy everywhere on every social channel. It's Tuned Out Comedy. Pretty easy to find. All of my songs are there, chopped in little bits. They're just the full songs, and they're really weird and funny. And I just love taking people's stories and their lives and turning it into something really crazy. So if you enjoyed it, check it out. Would love to have you as a follower. And thanks again for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
that's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Later.